Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. SSL Challenge. What a world we live in. We've got two Protoss gods of the past falling in our first two series. Our last game saw Patience take out Sue in what looked like a very solid strategy, just really impressive play. Not too many critiques against Patience's playstyle.
Yeah, he's also had the best interview of the night, for sure.
That is very true. Just, our only interview of the night.
Yeah,
but
saying thanks. I'm not even sure if you guys got to see him, but
no,
I swear that was him.
It was like the disembodied voice of Patience.
Yeah.
We just have like a Patience speaker, and it only says thank you off to the side. You guys can't see it. But we're working on this. This is a very brand new season.
It's
we're
day
in
one.
New place, so we'll try to step that up. And if you guys have any suggestions, then make sure to post some feedback. You can also do that by tweeting at Brendan or at Brendan Valdez or at Rapid Casting. And
I have a suggestion. I think the caster on the left should wear pants. I'll work on that,
They don't tell us these things, guys. We actually thought we were supposed to have a desk here.
So they told us we were going to be on stage, so I was like, okay, you just only have desks on stage, right?
Yeah. And then we show up, and they moved our other desk up here, and they took the – so if you guys ever watch like SSL Premier or Classic or any of the other tournaments here, they have these two big desks up on stage. They moved those off and then moved our little setup onto stage.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know, thinking emoji, can you not just leave the desk? I don't know. But this is why we get to see –
This is the fun of, you know, Korean TV shows, right? Being just kind of like the foreign side of it, where it's like
just one big
we're going to throw you on and see what happens, and I hope it goes well. So that's kind of what happened here.
There's so much hope going on. Every single broadcast is just the most hopeful period of my life, Valdez.
I would like to think that it's gone pretty well over the course of the years, outside of, you know, the...
Well, we still have one more series left, so don't jinx it just yet.
Yeah, that's true.
Things could still go horribly wrong, but hopefully they won't.
One of the players that lost comes up here and just starts cursing into the mic. We're like, oh my god, what do we do?
That would not be good, Valdez.
Yeah. Everybody's just loving it in Twitch chat, but we get in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, don't want to see that. So what we are going to see is our final series of the night. It's going to be Rogue taking on ByuN. So either we get Sexy Boy up here, or we get, well, also, but ByuN up here as well. He doesn't have his dog, so I'm a little bit sadder, but we'll try to work on our interviews for our final series of the night. And
couldn't we just have the dog up here while he's playing?
If he just brought the dog, I would take care of it and play with it lovingly the entire broadcast, and you could cast the games.
Yeah.
So, you know, I feel like that'd be a pretty fair trade.
We got a pretty big
it could run and play.
For all
we could
of us.
even like set up a little like puppy pen, put a puppy cam on there, totally degrade the quality of the broadcast, basically just make it a stream.
It's fine.
But
it's just like one more webcam. I mean, we already got a couple of them for the players.
Several cameras around here.
So just one more right next to it.
Put them to use.
Yeah. Yeah, as you said, that was like the highlight of SSL Challenge Season 1 was ByuN's puppy, the Byuppy, coming on the interview. Maybe in the future. We can probably talk to him about that.
We got to increase our production value, get the puppies in here. Well, that is our last series coming up, guys. And I hope you've enjoyed a little bit more of the lighthearted style of SSL Challenge. If this is new to you, well, kind of get used to it. It's not quite the super serious nature of a lot of other tournaments. It's late at night here. I think it just hit midnight.
Yeah.
So
I mean, if the games are good, we'll get into it. But if they're, you know, Impact shoving a bunch of banelings into the holes of Zest's wall, well, then we'll have other stuff to talk about.
Not a good place to have them. So this is going to be our final series of the night. So let's go ahead and introduce it. Our first player, ByuN. We've seen him win crazy amounts of crazy tournaments all over the place, everywhere. And then we've also seen him kind of fall from grace and have some really just surprisingly off performances. So his opponent here, Rogue, a guy that really kind of came out of kind of nowhere 3 seasons ago in GSL. He's one of the first players to popularize the use of swarm hosts in matchups and competitive play, and had that as like a unique characteristic, but never was able to crack really that S tier of Zerg players.
He was hanging around there for a while, but as you said, there would be days where it seemed like it would either be nerves or inconsistency that would get to him, and it wouldn't be the same Rogue that we were used to.
Right.
And we've seen him over the years. I mean, he's been on Jin Air for quite a while now, and yeah, trying to return to his former glory. He has made it into Challenge here.
A departure from our previous style of map picks and bans. Finally, we get a chance to see Frost. It was ByuN's first pick, and so it will be represented there at the end of our choices. But we are going to be starting off, as always, on Odyssey and then moving on to Ascension to Ire.
Yeah, we got Frost there at the end as ByuN's first choice. I just remember, I think it was a Rogue game where part of the Swarm he made a bunch of, I think it was Ultralisk and like harassed bases, like the 4th and 5th bases of Terrans.
I remember what you're talking
on
about.
Frost. That was like a really random thought that just came to my mind. But when I think about Rogue on Frost, those are the two things that come together in the one picture that forms in my mind.
Yeah, some really unique styles that this guy tries to play. The game that you're talking about, it's like, well, what do you do when you have really spread out bases? Well, there's not enough units at every base to defend against an Ultralisk, and unless you go planetary fortresses and stuff like that. But just really just the wackiest stuff you've ever seen. So I'm expecting some really cool plays here tonight. We also have ByuN playing, who really pioneered this micro-intensive Reaper style, and so I would expect to see quite a few of those. I don't know if we're going to get up to like the maximum meme level of Reapers out there.
Maximum level?
Quite possibly.
You were close to making that work, but I just had to put
That's the story of my life, Valdez.
Yeah.
I'm always pretty close to making it, which sometimes it goes over the edge one way or the other.
Maybe someday you'll make it there. I'd say
maybe someday
close.
Terrans will figure out how to build a 4th barracks for Reaper all-ins. I don't know. Anything could happen, man. Time will tell.
Pretty gross, but maybe someday.
So that's kind of what I'm looking forward to. It's like, well, you have a Zerg player, you have a ByuN, and you just build a bunch of Reapers and try to win the game. Saw that quite extensively at the end of last season of SSL Challenge. So
yeah.
Is it still around? I don't know.
Reapers coming back in force.
Often imitated, never duplicated.
Duplicated in the sense,
of being able to execute it with quite the same alacrity. I don't know if that's the correct usage of the word, but we're going to go into our final series of the night, guys. It's ByuN versus Rogue, so get out there and tell your friends that you're fans of ByuN or just want to see our Zerg player Rogue advance as well. It's been a good night to be Zerg so far, Valdez. I think Rogue might be able to do it.
He's definitely got a pretty good chance. So we are going to jump onto Odyssey for game number 1, and Rogue will pause the game.
Just kidding. This is when you have to not just pause once, but type the 3 Ps. Let them know that you really just have to stop the game.
So sad. So
I'm always like confused. It's like, well, 10 seconds ago we started the game, so like what changed? So maybe there's a PC issue.
Yeah,
something along those lines.
He messed up his split, so
maybe
he's like, wait, no, I messed up. Let me do it again.
I'm never going to mine the minerals now.
Yeah.
Maybe he's requesting a new chair, Valdez.
Oh, we've had a lot of that over
Today
here.
I learned.
In the Nexon Arena, just players across games.
I didn't even know that was a thing that you could do. So apparently Rogue forgot a couple of keybinds, so I believe that we are going to...
Does he get a warning for that?
I think he does get a warning. So anytime you get into the game and there are player-made errors, we allow them to remedy the errors and start them if the game is like just started. But I believe we also do give them a penalty. I think is it 2 penalties or 3 penalties?
I think it's 2 warnings and you lose an indicator point.
Yeah.
So if you were...
So that means that if you're tied, the tie break, you now lose the tie break instead of winning it. So penalty points can make a big deal, and even though it sucks to kind of lose or not be promoted because of that, I mean these are mistakes that you have to be aware of. So all is good. The keybinds have been remedied. Now we are ready to get out onto our first map for our final series of the night. Our Zerg player spawning up in the upper left-hand corner is Rogue. All right.
Is the CGs coming up on screen?
There we go. I forgot that I didn't know if we were reintroducing them or just restarting totally or whatever. So I just thought, hey, why not just go ahead for the intro and see what happens. So really interested to see ByuN's play style here. He has been all about the control, about the micro, and about those Reapers. Probably all about the base as well. So it looks like he's going to be constructing not 1, but 2 barracks at his front. Possibly a 3rd one on the way behind it eventually.
Yeah, you don't see a lot of double racks at the front, so I think your prediction will come true. We'll probably see 3, and that is just the ByuN build. That's the way things go. Yeah,
Reapers, building Reapers, and useful talent to have. And there indeed, Valdez, is the 3rd barracks coming up as well into, well, there's the expansion, but it's after pool, so I think this is a very smart opening from Rogue. Probably knows exactly what's coming his way, and should have an opening that will allow him to at least handle it.
Yeah, one of the cool parts about StarCraft is if your really strong style gets figured out, eventually people just start blind countering it. Yeah. You have to mix it up, and in a sense, Rogue will be ahead here. As long as he can hold off the Reaper Micro, you know, just making the pool first doesn't mean you win the early game straight out. So, does go with the speed, a very useful tool to have against these Reapers that come out.
Yeah, speed will be up and on the way, and because none of these racks are proxied or anything crazy like that, you know, it's not going to be the most potent, allest-in form of the build. Still going to be quite a bit to deal with, so always ByuN's control is what he is most well known for, so see how much damage he can get done with these first few Reapers.
Even making a Ro.1 on the back of this Rogue, trying to take this as seriously as possible. Just making all the defensive tools that are needed to hold this off. We already have 3 Reapers out on the map, 3 more on the way.
Popping out intermittently and finally getting in here to the drone. The drone's doing a wheelie again. I love it. They get hit by the bounce, but they still keep moving forward. Then they try to mine or deliver minerals, and it looks like they're popping a wheelie. Absolutely insane mechanics. How does he do it?
Well, Factory is the follow-up, and Rogue just saying, okay, I want to shut this down right away. 4 roaches. Gonna be good for now, but once this Reaper count does get to an intense amount, like 10 plus, just 4 roaches is not going to be enough, so just continuously making those roaches.
And now Ravagers will be on the way as well. So this is going to be the style of Reapers where you don't just go for the early harass and try to all in. You're going to be perpetually making these as the game goes forward. And for Rogue, though, you can see no drones on the way, just nothing but roaches. So he is really not just even going to try to stop this style in its tracks, but push through it, try to get damage done.
Oh, and I love the response from ByuN. He's like, okay, you can go ahead and spam those roaches, but we got Banshees on the way, no doubt, with the Factory making a tech lab right next to that starport that's building. And I mean, ByuN is so good with the grenades that even if you do go a bunch of roaches, he can delay your push for so long. He can snipe units with this. You can see what he's doing, even just like a couple of grenades at a time. This is going to take forever to get across the map.
I love this utility from Reapers. Not just useful for harassment or mobility, but the way the KD8 charge works is there's nothing, there's no like a spell shield that prevents the units from getting knocked up by your mines. So you actually can't ever stop that. You're going to take a bunch of damage. Look at this. Just nothing but Reapers killing units and forcing them back. These units can't get to ByuN's base.
That's a Roach and a Ravager already for 1 Reaper. I mean, he's bought so much time for the Banshee to come out even, and it's questionable whether or not the Roaches and Ravagers can even win against the Reapers straight up.
Best unit in StarCraft isn't even a unit, Valdez. These KD8 charges, the MVP of this game so far, buying a ton of time for ByuN to get these Banshees out.
Yeah, the Banshee will be incredibly important as Rogue has finally made it across, and he's been spamming Lings too, which is going to be very useful to just cracking the base. You can see already 44 Lings with speed out on the map.
Gonna have to go for it now. That Banshee will eventually kill everything. Look at the KD8 charges going down. Mass repair there on the bunker. Can he keep it alive long enough? And it looks like the answer is yes.
Oh man, that was a total stomp of this attack.
Oh
Not
my
even close.
God.
That was just, oh man, ByuN GG. 1-0 victory. Taking that quick sip of his water saying, yeah, I'm pretty good at this game.
Damn. Who really is the sexy boy? I'm just blown away, Valdez. I'm just gonna like sit here and just look into space. Somewhere the answer is out there.
You gotta contemplate your life after a game like that.
It's just amazing.
Again, the Roaches kind of, it was, you know, an all-in follow-up from Rogue, where he's like, okay, I hope I can get over there and attack you before you have stuff to respond to this. And if the Banshee hadn't come out, maybe he wouldn't have felt it like he had to get in there as quickly as he did.
Yeah.
But again, perfect defense as well. Like really nice concave, even using the ramp and having all of his SCVs in position to defend. The biles weren't that great on the on the SCVs that were repairing because he didn't have time because the Banshee was already out. So.
Also, it kind of had to like panic, run everything in, and anytime you're forced to move in onto a Terran, and he's got so many Reapers like that, well, it's just like, you know, it's the mystery. It's like where
it's like the trampoline effect. It's like everything's just going bouncing everywhere.
It's a bounce house, man.
Yeah.
Detective ByuN. It's like, well, where should I place these KD8 charges? Like, well, what about just everywhere. Like
everywhere,
over there, some over there, and he just like sprays them everywhere. All the Zerglings die instantly. The Roaches fall in the back line, and the Ravagers are cleaned up by the Banshee. Everything explodes. Wow, what a game. I think that's our fastest game of the night, Valdez.
Yeah, I think it is. Would have to agree to that one. Did seem like it. ByuN, he got up to that scary number of 10 Reapers, and Rogue kind of just forced it with the all-in follow-up that just got totally wiped off the map. So going into Game 2, I hope Rogue has another plan for ByuN's Reapers, because Game 1 did look very one-sided.
All right, here we go. ByuN. That's the only word I'm going to say so far. Instead of saying Reapers, I'm just going to say ByuN. SCVs, ByuN. ByuN, ByuN, ByuN. ByuN, 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 ByuN. There we go. I really like the style of casting. I think it could grow on me. Well, there he is. His opponent. Oh, that's going to be Rogue, spawning in the upper left-hand corner. So, man, Rogue, the look of a defeated man and a sexy boy on his face.
At the same time.
How did he do it? The multitasking. It's just insane.
So, ByuN, you know, to the surprise of nobody, is going to be doing the same build. I think Rogue, this time on Ascension to Ire, a bit of a bigger map, he will, I think, just play it a little bit more defensively. I do just want to see kind of Speedlings as the answer. I don't want to see him go into Roach Tech, maybe take a more greedy but defensive kind of approach to the...
Greedy approach?
Yes.
Putting the Roach in his approach, man.
No Roaches, no Roaches, just go Speedlings, deal with that way.
Right. I think one of the players that has illustrated how to deal with this style most effectively is Sue. He played against it very, very frequently, and especially against guys like Maru, who tried to imitate this style from ByuN. When you face a player who knows that it's coming and has practiced about dealing with it, it just looks night and day different. Sue able to completely devastate this kind of mass Reaper strat. But I mean, ByuN's coming back with the same strategy again. So Rogue has to know that he's going to have to deal with the same thing coming his way. He's already started a pool before hatchery. That's going to be done. He's got speed on the way. And hopefully, like you said, Valdez, it's more of a Speedling defense instead of trying to go all in.
Yeah, just keep it low tech, make a bunch of queens, and try to just do that defensive approach. We do have the first Reaper coming across, and Rogue just looking for the scout with his 2 Lings, actually going the long way around. And we'll just defend against this first Reaper with the first Queen.
You know, it's interesting the way that the Reaper has kind of transformed its usefulness. Initially, way back in like Wings of Liberty, you'd have guys like Morrow who made this unit look unbelievably broken. And indeed, it was nerfed successively many times immediately after that. That's why you can't build you have to build a supply depot first. You can't build barracks first anymore. Reaper's just like so good. But then, you know, initially it was just a scouting unit, and so it became, hey, I'll build 1 or 2 to force Zerglings early. Well, now if you know that your opponent's going to be going for mass Reapers, you just overproduce Zerglings because you know they're going to be valuable, crush the strat, and the Terran's a little bit further behind.
+1 armor this time, and only Lings. Do like to see this. You give your Lings a lot more survivability. You survive with basically just the Lings and the Queens.
Love the Carapace coming in as well.
Yeah.
They'll be kicking in eventually. Reapers out across the map. The Zerglings will scout it out, and so already Rogue knows he's got a repeat of the last game, but instead of overcommitting to these drone or the Zergling numbers, he's droning up behind it. So this is one way to pull the Reapers back, to deal with them, say, hey, you can't hurt me if I'm across the map killing all your stuff. And that is one hallmark of this Reaper style, is that you really just don't have a lot to defend at home.
Seems like he's just looking for the reinforcing Reapers. ByuN very smartly keeping everything at home. Even though he is continuously building Reapers, he's not moving out just yet because he knows that Rogue is trying to catch them out. So.
Very intelligent here. It might look like there's just the Reapers are standing still not doing anything, and in fact that is true, but it's because half of them are back in his base playing this defensively. So ByuN not trying to like shove this strategy down Rogue's throat, giving him that respect and playing more defensively with them.
Yeah, so a very safe approach here. Finally putting down that third hatchery, and at least the Reapers won't do damage for now. Rogue, not sure if he will assume that ByuN has transitioned because he hasn't really yet at all.
See, that's the secret here. You can just hide and pool your Reapers. Your opponent thinks, hey, he stopped it. He's backing off a little bit. You come out with like your 38 Reapers, and you're like, oh, wow, he just never stopped building them. That's the number that ByuN got up to in one of his games. He had 38 Reapers. I'm like, well, is that not just too many? I don't know. Not for ByuN, that's for sure. So still continuing this Reaper production 3 at a time. This is like +1 upgrade to Noah's Ark. You just get 1 extra Reaper in every single cycle, and he's not stopped making them. I'd love to see the army count to see exactly how many he has right now. I don't think this full count has even been scouted.
It looks like 15. Oh, I was close. Or 16.
He's going to do this really cool strat. I believe we saw Gumiho pull this off in the GSL finals, where you go Medevac Reaper. And, you know, it sounds so counterintuitive because you're just like, well, I mean, they can already jump off cliffs. Why do you need to drop them? Well, it's the idea that if you can heal Reapers in battle, then they just never die. And you can micro them excessively. You've still got the KD8 charges. And because you don't need to pull them back to heal, you've got that healing from on high. They're just so much more effective. It's unreal.
So here we go. Rogue just relying on these +1 Carapace Lings and the Queens. Even getting +1 a melee attack at this point, and getting a Baneling Nest as he sees exactly what is on the ground. Will need that Baneling Nest for the follow-up of the Terran regardless. And ByuN just continuous pressure. He's got a third base on the way. He's really forcing Rogue to play extremely defensively and sit back and just play safe, get a very late third base, delay his tech because of all of this.
And make a whole bunch of units that don't hit air, by the way.
Yeah, so he's sitting here, he's not doing a ton of damage, but he is at the same time.
Oh my god, this huge connections from the KD8 charges. We'll be able to save the majority of those Reapers, does lose a couple. But here comes the Liberator all the way on in, and Spore Crawlers rather, just about to finish.
Ooh, that timing.
Man, perfect, and even sieges right over it.
Good pull against the Widow Mines here. The Liberator didn't get all that much damage.
Indeed it did not. Yeah, so Widow Mines out here, very good job dealing with them. Won't be able to burrow them on top of anywhere near those Zerglings. Look at these KD8 charges. This is where it becomes a bounce house. Look at the carnage.
Lost a bunch of Reapers, though. I think he tried to put them in the full medevac.
Yeah, instead of the empty medevac right behind it.
Yeah. Ooh, look at that
okay,
hit.
All right, never mind. Doesn't
12
matter.
Lings.
Widow Mines are good.
So, continuous harass here. Would like to have about 5 more Reapers with this attack.
Love the Reaper drop. That's a sentence I just said, Valdez.
This is a thing now. Hey, we're watching ByuN play, right?
Yeah, that we are. And you can actually do a cool thing where you run the Reapers in and kill all of the anti-air and then come back in with a Liberator later, because it's usually just going to be static defense.
Yeah. For you guys who are paying attention, I'm sure this won't come as a surprise, but if you look at the supply, ByuN's army is miles ahead of Rogue. I mean, he's got Stim, he's about to have 1-1 coming up here, and Rogue, I think he almost over-drones. He's got 75 and not even a 4th base. He doesn't have enough stuff to stop this. He has no Banelings.
Yeah,
he's got 10 morphing right now, but at the same time, I mean, a lot of the Reapers are still left over. The huge Marine Ball is just going to roll over this third
units
base.
Here. Yeah, it's 69 army supply to 37, guys. 37.
Let's see the splits. Oh man, that huge Widow Mine hit on the Lings. And they both stay alive, too, to add insult to injury. This is even before 1-1 finishes. ByuN is not done with this push.
Indeed, I think it's time to call up, or use our phone a friend, call up Luca, see what he says about the supply. Because I think it is, even though it looks a little bit more even, I mean, 70 drones, like that is, that's optimistic.
Well, if he can hold on, he'll be in a pretty good spot. He did just finish his hive, I believe. So,
all right.
Yeah,
I mean,
there it is.
Yeah, but he's still just pumping Lings. So, I mean, is that the recipe for success? Okay, wow, some decent Baneling connections. All right, well, that'll get you there.
He's holding on.
That is true.
It was looking pretty dire, but, okay, Ultralisk Cavern on the way.
That is truly the counter to Reapers. You just have to get
you only have to tech into Ultralisks.
Yeah. Yeah. What?
So easy.
Yeah, I mean, that seems like an obvious counter to Reaper's Valdez.
Yeah. Well, running by here, trying to do his best micro impression.
That's when the pickup is too hot.
Yeah.
Continuing to try to drop this in there, just being annoying, stressing the multitasking. But like you said, Valdez, this does look much better for Rogue.
He lost both of his medevacs, too.
Yeah.
I feel like ByuN, he was in a really sick spot.
Whoa! Okay, also losing Infinity Marines to one Baneling.
He's falling apart now.
Yeah.
What happened?
ByuN. If I've seen it once, I've seen it 100 times here. This is just such a common occurrence from ByuN to go for these strats, pull off like the sickest micro, have like the game maybe not won, but heading that way, and then you just fall apart. Maybe it's just one little thing that sets it off. Maybe one thing doesn't work out, and you're just like, I really wish that had. But he's coming across the map, still putting the pressure on. He just has a fraction of his earlier army.
Yeah, he's trying to do a good job of these Widowmine hits, and he does. But again, it's just a scratch in the armor at this point. Rogue has held on with 80 drones and Ultralisks on the way. And as long as he can make enough Banelings to deal with these Marines, as you guys can see on the left, he should be totally fine.
Ooh, nice transfuses as well, saving those Queens from the Liberator that was just off screen to your left. Continuing this Widowmine placement out across the map, getting decent value there. +2/+2, just now finishing up for ByuN's forces as he continues to try these drops.
Oh, combat shields.
Yeah. Hey,
there you are.
Ah, funny how that upgrade is there. How did that get there?
Forgot about that one.
This is like,
I guess I wasn't the only one.
This is like when you play a new game for the first time, and you have to like find out what all the buttons do and stuff. I was playing StarCraft Remastered the other day, and you can rebind hotkeys to some extent there. And I'm just trying to figure out where I put this. It's like, well, I try to build a pylon by hitting P, but I can't do that anymore because I rebounded to E. I don't know how does it work. Whoa! Potential for massive hits there from those Widow Mines. They do connect decently, but man, it only takes one Baneling hit onto ByuN's army. Really take it down. Look at the focus fire! Leaves a few behind to take the hit.
Yeah, ByuN really just trying to out-control Rogue at this point. Just continuous attacks coming in and, doing a good job with this control, but eventually there comes a point where perhaps Rogue's economy is just in a really good spot. But we do have ByuN securing a fourth base with a planetary, which is going to be really nice, and these attacks will get stronger once he finally does get combat shields. So I think we might just enter this late game phase where these guys are kind of on even footing. Like, ByuN had a big lead, and then Rogue held it off, and his economy was really far ahead, but then these attacks have been getting some nice damage. And speaking of attacks, coming in once again.
Massive Widowmine hits. Oh my god.
27 kills.
Yeah. Oh, and look, he does it again.
Oh, man.
Oh my god. Look, indeed, in fact, consider by visualizing the supply. And see just that huge dip it took. Rogue was almost up towards max, and now he's at 147.
That was just, okay, I was talking about where we were at in this game. That changes everything, guys. Lots of Liberators being added into the mix, and even getting those air upgrades, and this is going late game. We're in a spot where ByuN can definitely still win this game, and he's going for a massive drop into the main that Rogue, I think, just did now see. No, he's moving away from it. He only sees it now.
Wow. ByuN thinks he's playing against Terran as they go for these tomb drops, but he will get all the way on the top of the ramp. Massive amount of Liberators there, and these Ultralisks, strong though they may be, not that great against Liberators. They will push through, but there are enough Marauders and a decent amount of M&M on the ground to take out at least quite a few of the Ultras. However, enough Corruptors do spawn, and it takes out the Liberators. ByuN's drop is cleaned up.
Definitely a good trade, though. I mean,
he
trades pretty decently there, and he also gets the Ultralisk Cavern, and it's going to take a while for Rogue to rebuild that. He's not even going to rebuild that for now. So, ByuN saying, okay, I've taken a pretty good trade. Let me back off. Let me regroup my forces and go for another attack. More Liberators on the way. Rogue finally decides to go for a fifth base.
Now, Ultras and Chitinous plating are both done, and as a Terran player, you really do have to be respectful of that. As much as you micro your bio balls, it doesn't matter when you can just brute force your way through those, and I think even ByuN knows, no matter how well he controls that, he's still going to be in a little bit of trouble. Now, he did kill the Ultralisk cavern, so it's going to have to be remade. So he's got a little bit of a timing where he doesn't have to deal with that super strong late-game Zerg unit.
I think he's grouping up to go for an attack before that is done. I mean, Ultralisks do take a long time to build, as does the Ultralisk Cavern. So getting some more upgrades, some more Liberators, and looking to set up a push towards the 5th base. Rogue only has 1 Queen. That's another thing. I mean, when you're going big into Ultralisks, some transfuses are nice, but not only that, you need injects, right? His macro is kind of falling apart.
Oh, these Widowmine hits, how good are they? Pretty good.
And he keeps kind of rolling straight into a huge Widowmine field.
Yeah, also the Overseer's way back in the back, not even there to detect. So you should probably figure out a better, or at least more larva-efficient way to deal with that. If you're just going to be running off of 1 Queen, you're not going to have the injects that you need to keep up with this massive production.
I like the slow push forward and the baiting into the Widowmines. Oh, man, look at that
no!
hit! Again and again and again. Rogue just keeps rolling right into Widowmines.
He's going to go for it again. I wouldn't be a bit surprised. He just walks right back into it.
I mean, good splitting out of ByuN, but like, you gotta take it a little bit slower when you're playing as Zerg against these Widowmines.
Yeah, he's just gonna do it again. Where are the hits? They keep on coming! The Widowmines kill off every single Baneling, and ByuN's army is just too strong.
That's gonna do it. Not enough stuff here for Rogue. Too many mistakes in micro and macro. Still only 1 Queen. That's gonna take game number 2, going over to ByuN with our second 2-0 of the night.
I mean, I think Rogue kind of a little bit in disbelief at how devastating it was to just run his army forward and lose everything, down to 91 supply. And he's going to stay in it for 1 more push. Maybe he gets the miracle connections, but with such disrespect for these Widowmines, it's not going to work out.
ByuN pushing forward. That one last desperate attempt, as you mentioned, out of Rogue. But the parade push does what it does. It parades for ByuN's victory. And nothing even here to deal with the Liberators at this point. Ultra's going down to the Marine Marauder. And GG finally called ByuN with the 2-0.
Yeah, it looked a little bit shaky there towards the middle when ByuN kind of lost a few of his drop ships. The Reapers were never able to deal critical damage. And I started to see that game slipping away from ByuN, but able to pull it back, play a little bit of a slower, more defensive style, and he'll take the 2-0. And, yeah, really just solid play. Rogue didn't look overwhelmed, but especially game 1, you could just really see they were on different levels.
Yeah, I think ByuN definitely also is feeling, you know, as we mentioned before in the beginning of the broadcast, he was 1 game away from making it out of fast lane into Premier, and then he drops down, and he's here. So I feel like all of those emotions coming through, he's really practicing pretty hard, takes the win. Not out of the booth just yet. That was just a referee.
Yeah.
I know we're all hyped to see.
Yeah, we're trying to snipe ByuN over here.
Yeah, if he's going to come up on stage.
We're looking for him.
I think
he's hunting. So the new name of our show, Hunting for ByuN. We might have to close it down before he gets out of here, but we'll try to get him up. So yeah, here's a look at the way our matches went tonight. The first day of the first stage of SSL Challenge. SOS losing to Bunny, Zest losing to Impact, Patience taking a win over Sue, and ByuN taking a 2-0 victory over Rogue.
Those 2 legends of Protoss, as you mentioned, SOS and Zest. I was hoping for better results out of them on the first day of Challenge, but they really did not impress at all. SOS had some pretty funny games, but again, they were really just that funny. So
do it for the memes, man.
Exactly. So Bunny up on top.
Yeah.
I'm
not sure exactly what qualifies him to be higher than Patience. I don't know. But here's a look at our next broadcast. SSL Premier returns for the first time again on Monday. That was a little bit redundant. Innovation versus Hero to start things off. One of the best Protoss players around right now against one of the best PvZ Terrans we've seen almost ever. So Protoss struggling a little bit. Maybe Hero is their savior, and he'll start things off in Premier.
Yeah, and you guys can see the rest of the matchups. I really like that first matchup, and then ByuN versus Classic. And of course, if you guys are paying attention, we will have a challenge on the next Saturday. ByuN, you want to say anything to the fans out there? Here, take this.
Thank you. Today, very bad condition.
Oh, bad condition, but won 2-0.
one set. Perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, 2 set, not perfect.
Okay.
No. But congratulations. 수고하셨습니다.
Thank you.
Thanks.
안녕히 계세요. And there he goes. This is the look of a 7,000 MMR player.
That's what he looks like, guys. I like how he walked directly in the direction of the camera, too, just giving his best face. I hope you guys caught the cringy moment where I tried to grab his hand, but he just gave me back the headset. He's like, "No, your MMR is just not high enough.
Not high enough, man.
I know exactly where you're at on the ladder. I'm just like, I guess I'll just take the headset back."
Yeah, you just gotta look at it. It's like this hand will never be the same again. It has been shunned by the god of ByuN.
I mean, this is a hand that I can wash because I didn't get to handshake him. You know.
I think we're all a little bit more thankful about that, Brendan.
Me too. You know.
What a night it has been, guys. I hope you enjoyed the show here, broadcasting on Twitch for the first time. It's been a pleasure bringing you guys this SSL Challenge broadcast. Make sure to tune in to SSL Premiere. We'll be back on Monday. That's all that we have for you tonight. So thank you all so much for watching. Have a good evening.